Right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Lorenzo, and I will be presenting a comprehensive analysis of MacJ Pest Control Services, a company widely known for its professional science-backed pest control solutions across Metro Manila and nearby provinces. So let's begin with our introduction of the company. So MacJ Pest Control Services. Let's start with a very simple introduction. So they offer a broad range of pest management solutions. So what are these solutions? So these are general pest control, termite treatment, and post construction rat rodent control, bed bug treatments, weed control, and surface disinfection. They're founded by a licensed pest control professionals with extensive industry experience and a focus on strategic modern methods. So the company targets both residential and commercial sectors, including food hubs, warehouses, ports, airports, schools, and basically any property type. So in the pest control industry, here's what I found while I was in their firm. So yes, of course, number one, they're founded by a licensed professional couple in pest management. Number two, they identified the increasing need for reliable pest control due to urban growth and commercial expansion in Metro Manila. Don't get me wrong, guys. MacJ Pest Control Services originally started in Cebu. They're the couple, or at least the owners, who have started this business are originally from Cebu, and then they just started branching out here in here in Metro Manila. So they upon my visit there, upon my time there, my 2 weeks time there that I spent with him and earlier, uh, after I got this meeting with Sir Fantilio, here's what I found so far. So they have actually no shortage when it comes to trained technicians, skilled workers, or at least the support staff itself. They strictly comply with the FDA guidelines and local government regulations. Business is positioned as a small but strategic and local service provider in Quezon City only. I'm going to be focusing on Quezon City only. So they operate in a competitive market within Quezon City and neighboring areas. They also service clients from Luzon, or at the entire NCR up on the whole Luzon. So their main clientele includes local homeowners, residential buildings, restaurants, warehouses, schools, and small to medium businesses. So this is their basic workflow diagram that I've found, or at least have come up into when I was in there servicing them as well as a quote unquote process engineer. So the referral comes first. So they represent how most of Maxi's clients come through the word of mouth, repeat customers, or community based referrals, or at least they win bids from the government. And then from the office, the Central Quezon City office, this is where their service calls, admin, scheduling, and planning are handled. This is where technician dispatch and service coordination happens in their office in Quezon City. So the supplier, so they refer to the chemicals and equipment suppliers FDA approved. Supplies are ordered for termite treatment, disinfection, and rodent control, and etc. So for the warehouse, they serve as a storage and preparation area for pest controls, sprayers, traps, foggers, PPE, and other service tools. And then when it comes to the site, this refers to the client's locations, homes, buildings, warehouses where pest control is actually performed. So these are the key stakeholders and partners. So we have the owner, Marlon Didal and Cathy Didal, the owner and the co-founder. So the licensed pest controls are his employees. They are trained to be licensed, support and admin staff, regulatory bodies, FDA, LGU, sanitation departments, the product suppliers, which is the chemical and their equipments, clients, which are homeowners, commercial property owners, landlords, schools, and then the community members. So this is the location of their office. So they are located in Santo Tomas Street, Barangay Don Manuel, Quezon City. Very near and very centralized, near on the border of Metro Manila and Quezon City. So both of the offices and warehouse are actually located there. They have recently purchased new property which is actually just beside them, which is more of like a storage and a warehouse. So here's what I have so far. So for their pricing, let me just put myself into the text of our end term. Give me a few moments. All right, so when it comes to their pricing, so the competitive pricing depends on bulk buying and long-term supplier relationships. Higher end chemicals may raise service but cost but improve effectiveness and customer satisfaction. So these are like affordable alternatives offered for clients with smaller budgets if ever they do offer that. So when it comes to the facilities, the storage facilities are secured and meet chemical storage safety standards because of the newly purchased facility that they have, which is the new uh, warehouse that they just bought. And then the products are stored in climate appropriate areas to maintain chemical integrity. And for the workspace, it includes the contamination and preparation zones. For inventory, this maintains lean but efficient inventory levels to avoid spoilage or expiration tracks, usage and replenishment through internal logs, stocks, seasonal or location-specific treatments. And when it comes to transportation, there are service teams employed that comes with mobile kits and equipment. Sometimes they use motorcycles as a small service vehicles for tight neighborhoods. So they rely also on quick restocking partnerships with Metro Manila suppliers to avoid long downtime. So what I want to change here is that the following. Let me just change this one into sourcing and you're going to know later why. And upon my visit, this is what it looks like. So these are their team being deployed. They were recently at the Consulate of General of Malaysia. These are the team that they have. This is one of the key problem identifiers that I saw whenever they're mixing chemicals. They're just mixing this in a garage in an apartment style compound type of facility that they have. That is where their office is located and etc. But since they already have purchased a new warehouse, that wouldn't be a problem anymore, and this is actually will be approved. All right, so let's discuss the following. So at first, Surfantil and I identified that the problem comes with facility. Sorry, with inventory. That's the first thing that you saw in my PowerPoint, and the explanation why is that when it comes to inventory, machines are part of inventory, which means vehicles. They have 6 vehicles lying around, and we have identified that among those 6 vehicles, none of them are, I mean, actually, 3 of them are just being deployed because has been an issue with the coding scheme here in Quezon City out of the 6 vehicles. So 3 vehicles are being deployed during the day, which is actually a huge problem already for them. So this is why I sorted out the problem into sourcing itself. Because sourcing, we have a hidden agenda on where I just saw or we just identified that they have a problem when it comes to purchasing or at least merchandising this type of vehicles because it is quite unfortunate to have those vehicles on a coding scheme. Let me just refer back here. All right, so what happens is that I did identify that what if those 6 vehicles are accessible plus an additional vehicle after optimization. So these are the following that I've done already. So total jobs per day, 9 to 11, just by using 3 vehicles, and then 18 to 21 total jobs can be serviced all throughout. So that's double the income already or the demand that they can share. So the before and after schedule table, as you can see, these are my computations. I'm just showing this as a part-time or at least a short time because I want to focus more on the new problem that we have just figured because this is the problem when it comes to inventory only. So now we have the identified sourcing as the real problem. Right. So here's me discussing how I got into a computation of Paul. How were we able to figure out the effective jobs per day and after? But this is not the actual solution that we need for this type of company. So the real problem, vehicle sourcing, not inventory. Why? Uh, Let me just tell you at the start of this study, we believe that the company's major operational issue was vehicle shortage, an inventory problem. But through our analysis, we discovered something deeper and more impactful. The real issue isn't actually fleet size, but how sourcing and deployment strategy fails to respond to government imposed restrictions. So, particularly in the vehicle coding system in Metro Manila. So, let's begin with the root cause of the issue. So, MacJ currently owns 6 vehicles for the service. However, there are only 3 available for daily operations. So this appears at first to be a shortage, but the truth is that 3 of those vehicles are idle due to Unified Vehicular Volume Reduction Program or coding scheme enforced in Metro Manila. So the vehicles with certain plate numbers are restricted from driving on specific weekdays. So the problem is MacJ has no policy for reassigning or rotating those coded vehicles. So instead of being rerouted or unused in other areas, those units are parked and unused. So this results in a 50% underutilization of a key operational asset, even though the fleet technically exists. So again, the real problem is inventory, but sourcing and deployment policy. All right. So here's what I've done as a solution. So moving forward, so this is before the old policy and its impact. So under the old policy, all vehicles are based in NCR, or which is in Quezon City or Metro Manila itself. So coded vehicles simply don't move on their restricted days. The consequences of this are very serious. So only 3 vehicles are operational per day. 18% are delayed or rescheduled, and then the service zones are overloaded. Client satisfaction decreases, obviously, and revenue is lost from missed jobs. So let me show you a summary in a simple table. So you're gonna see here, with technicians ready, pest controls equipment and stock, and rising demand from both NCR and provincial areas, this underutilization of vehicles directly limits the company's performance, as you can see here. Now, what happens after we apply a new policy for their company? So, what is that policy? New deployment policy. So, with new deployment policy in action, it's not actually buying new vehicles. It's redeploying the ones they already have. Because yes, one of the good ideas is that we can sell all of the cars that has very bad coding timing when it comes to their business. But what happens if the owner, or at least I've talked with the owner, and then they said, what happens if I just want to keep what I already have? So it's not buying new vehicles, it's redeploying the ones that we already have or the companies already have. So new policy is supposed to be all vehicles coded in Metro Manila should be reassigned to service provincial areas outside NCR on their coding days. So this includes places like from the south to Luzon, like Laguna, Cavite, Bulacan, Pampanga, and other Luzons in areas, as well as where areas are coding where coding is does not apply. So what does this change? Number one, it increases daily vehicle availability from 3 to 6. It doubles the service capacity. It reduces delay rates from 18% to 5%. It extends the service coverage and captures new markets. So here's what it looks like in the new table form. So vehicle type for non-coded 3 units, they continue the NCR service all throughout the day. And then the coded 3 units will be reassigned to Luzon routes. So the total use per day will be all 6 vehicles are active. And then what if we add an additional more? That will be a different story then. All right, so let's move forward. So here, I want to break down what it looks like, or at least the numbers behind the strategy. So in the back of my mind, I don't really need operations of research for this. So in the back of my mind, we could just say, if we have 3.5 jobs per day, which gives us around roughly if 3 vehicles are available before, I can say that 3 vehicles times 3.5 jobs per day will be around 10.5 jobs. So with the 15% delay rate, so that's 10.5 times 0.85, that will be equal to only 9 jobs per day before applying the policy that we have. But after, what if we have the 6 vehicles positively running and fully accessible? So that's 6 times 3, 18 jobs a day already. with 95% on the time rate. So that's 18 times 0.95 would give us 17 to 18 jobs. So that's double already. And that's, I believe, around 88% to 90% of improvement in operational output just from sourcing policy change. Simple as that. So the recommended plan that I have is to actually just audit all vehicle plate numbers in their coding days. We have to map out the provincial service zones outside NCR, create a dispatch schedules to align coded vehicles with uncoded areas, and pilot test new systems for. We can do a pilot test for the new system for roughly around 2 to 4 weeks because that's the way leeway possible time that I could see this happening. And we could evaluate the service metrics and refine routing plans and apply this company wide throughout the Quezon City branch. So all right. So in conclusion, MacJ's supply chain was never truly constrained by lack of vehicles. It was actually hindered by sourcing as a blind spot. So with this new deployment strategy, the company can double its active fleet, improving client satisfaction and grow service coverage without additional spending. So with smarter sourcing, it's not just a financial strategy; it's an operational breakthrough. So thank you so much for your time, and I welcome any questions if you have. And this is my presentation on how I was able to at least perform a comprehensive analysis of MacJ Pest Control services. All right, good day and thank you everyone. Let me also, before I end, I want to show you guys my paper, which is right here. So this is the executive summary. So MacJ Pest Control is a professional science-based pest management company operating in various regions across the Philippines. So they are renowned for its technical expertise and client approach. So MacJ is actually delivers reliable and environmentally responsible pest control solutions to residential, commercial, and industrial clients. So despite its strong market reputation and its increasing demand, the company is currently hampered by a critical logistical bottleneck in an insufficient inventory of service tables. So that moves on forward what I have just discussed earlier and moving forward. So I did an assessment key of logistical variables, which is here. This data come from their company itself. And then the inventory scheduling, an inventory constraint from the fleet storage. And here are the strategic recommendations when we were figuring out that inventory is the problem here, not before sourcing. And then I did here a cost benefit analysis already. So you're gonna see here the improvement. So if there's a fleet expansion, tangible outcomes are at least 40 to 50% increase in service delivery capacity, and then the ROI estimate will just be roughly around less than a year or more likely just a year. And then what else? So the fleet management system. So 15% reduction in fuel use and 20% drop in our productive hours. So that's good enough for 6 to 8 months. Sorry. ERP integration. So these are improved planning and accountability for vehicle related logistics. AI dispatch and optimization and route. 25% reduction in scheduling conflicts and 20% more jobs per week. So that's 7 to 9 months. I also did a feasibility analysis for their company, which is a financial, operational, and technological in alignment. These are the solutions in those areas. So for in terms of financial, phase acquisition and lease purchase models, vehicle financing, operational, staff training and shadow implementation over 2 months, shadowing of course, technological and select software with an open API modular features, strategic alignment, position as always on time, service brand supported by logistics, agility. I also did an operation implementation timeline. And you can see here that I already concluded this, but when I consulted with Sir Fantilio, we actually identified a new challenge, which is vehicle sourcing as the core problem. So you're gonna see here in this paper that the most of the key findings that we have is that 50% of MacJ's vehicles are restricted from daily operations due to not due to mechanical issues, but due to vehicle coding rules. So this is the root cause that I did. Consequences, of course, which I already discussed earlier. For the strategic recommendations, so like I said, the way that we think of this solution is that we have to, at least the non-coded vehicles will continue servicing NCR, and then the coded vehicles or the vehicles who have coding today will be assigned to Luzon or provincial clients outside Metro Manila. So again, the benefits, like I said, it increases the effective daily fleet from availability from 3 to 6, that which they already have. So it doubles the service capacity without purchasing new vehicles. So this optimizes current sourcing by maximizing asset rotation, reduces reliance on emergency, and rescheduling lost client hours. So here, the sourcing and the procurement policy redesign. This is the old policy model that we have, and this is the new one. So the new one, no immediate need for new vehicles because, of course, that is something that we can't magic or just snap of a finger. We could just buy. We could adapt the sourcing policy to government regulations or the coding days, and then we could introduce regional routing schedules to extend the coverage beyond. So this is my implementation plan for the new action plan that we have already here. So in phase one, week one, identify the vehicles by plate number and coding day. Phase two and week two, match provincial route schedules due to coding days. And phase three, weeks 3 to 4, test rerouting policy. And then phase four, it's the full rollout or evaluate the effectiveness. So let me just read here my solution or at least conclusion. So while earlier analysis pointed to a vehicle inventory shortage at MACG Pest Control Services, further investigation revealed that the real constraint lies in sourcing strategy and scheduling under external constraints like coding regulations. So by reassigning idle coded vehicles to non-NCR provincial zones, the company can instantly double operational capacity without new vehicle purchases. So this shifts from procurement to heavy deployment smart sourcing that enables cost savings, better coverage, and higher customer satisfaction, making this the most efficient and scalable solution moving forward. So this ends my end term paper for Sir Fantilio's subject. Um, Thank you so much for listening to my project, or at least the one that I did for supply chain. I'm hoping to see Sir Fantilio as one of my colleagues when it comes to my thesis because I'm currently a working student and I am a manager for a VA agency, and I want to point it out that I want Sir Fantilio to be one of my mentors, or at least one of my the persons who can help me when it comes to this, because when I had my talk with you, sir, to be honest, I've learned pretty much everything, and I want to improve more on as a manager in a VA agency. So I want to do a thesis for freelancers. And if that's something you can help, just let me know, sir. I'll be more than happy to take you in as one of my mentors or at least thesis advisors, sir. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Thank you so much.